Howdy y'all, welcome to Adventures with Kendall. Today, we're going to Eastern Washington to check out the 30th annual Morgan Family Plowing Bee near Colfax, Washington. It's an annual event full of farming history and family. And I can't wait to take you there, so pack your gear and let's head to the Plowing Bee. We're at the 30th annual Morgan Family Plowing Bee. Here's what you need to know about a plowing bee. A plowing bee is an outlet for farmers to show off their vintage tractors and plowing equipment. Think of it as like a car show, but instead of hot rods, it's mainly old farming equipment. And it's a great place to learn about farming history and action. Just watch this plow go. This plowing bee has been a tradition within the Morgan family for 30 years. And here are the Morgan brothers. They're the second generation to live on this land. Two of them, John and David, started the idea of having a plowing bee with their collection of vintage tractors. And it has been a great tradition throughout multiple generations of the Morgan family, including my Aunt Angie Collins. She is the daughter of John Morgan. Here, my cousin Andrea is piloting the 1930s Alice Chalmers Model M crawler with her grandpa John. Now before we get to the plowing bee, we need to get the tractors to the site, which includes John Morgan's restored Cat 60 tractor. As you can see, it takes a while to start this machine up. There's no key ignition on this machine. It's one long process to get it started. After seeing what it takes to start a Cat 60, let's ask John about it and what the plowing bee means to him. What does the plowing bee mean to you?
Well, I really have to appreciate the question. It's something we need to think through now and then. What it means to me is it's a piece of history that people need to know about, and we're going to considerable effort to have this fun and show people what really was a major thing that happened in agriculture, in all agriculture, every time a crop was planted. In the last 40, 50 years, it's less and less plowing actually done. I'm talking about moldboard plowing, where the plow goes under the soil, flips it over, and that's what we're doing, and there's very little of it done out in the field today.
All right, and when did this whole thing started?
It started 30 years ago. My brother had the idea, and on the family farm down on the Palouse River, we started 30 years ago with just the tractors that my brother had and a couple that I had, and a few people brought in a few, and it has just continued for 30 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's been a lot of fun. We've met some really wonderful people. We've had people from northern Montana, from far western Washington, from Alaska, from California, Oregon. All kinds of people have come to this.
My personal question is, when are we going to see some old traction engines come out here?
Well, this is about as old as it's going to get. Now, we did have a Rumley oil pull, which was about the same age, 1928. And that's about as old a tractor as we've had.
Wow. I was wondering what's the oldest around here, and I guess I found this one.
I think you're standing by it, really, yeah. It's hard to imagine that this technology is that old and still is up and around and fun to play with, fun to work with. It was a tractor that was really fit for its time. The size, it weighs about 20,000 pounds, roughly 60 horsepower, and it was used all over the world. They're built in San Leandro, California, most of them, this one was, and they were shipped all over the world. There's hundreds of them went to Russia in the ag area, all over the world because they were about the right size. And the timber industry, just beautiful for them because they could pull a logging arch, drag timbers out of the forests, and it was just a tractor that was right for its time. And the first ones, I think, were, I'm not real sure, before 1920.
Wow.
This one is 1928. And they built them until 1930. I think there was some built in 1930. And then diesel engines started to become popular, and that was the end of this old. This is a thirsty old bugger. It drinks lots of gasoline.
Once we get the Cat 60 loaded on the lowboy trailer, we will head out to the Plowing Bee location. This year's Plowing Bee will be at this location. It is about 5.8 miles north of the small farming town of Steptoe, Washington. Here we'll watch the tractors being unloaded from the trailers, including this beautifully restored 1959 John Deere 530. Look how beautiful it is. And here is Willard Morgan helping unload a plow for today. Let's go ask him what the Plowing Bee means to him. I'm here with Willard. Willard, what's the Plowing Bee mean to you?
The Plowing Bee, to me, is about family and friends and coming together on the farm. And this is the 30th year we've been doing it. We started down in the River Canyon at Great Grandpa Willard's place there. And ever since I've been a kid, when the fall time comes around, it's always the best to have that one day where we all get together and go plowing. And it's kind of a family reunion sometimes, but it's always just about getting back to where our families came from and spending time with the older guys that are around still and love this old equipment and trying to learn a little bit from them all the time.
As Willard and the others get their tractors and plows ready, let's go look at this field. And as you can see, it's quite a big one. Perfect for such an event. Now let's just sit back and watch the tractors being unloaded. This includes this post-war International Harvester TD6 and this John Deere 420 crawler. Now that all the tractors are prepped up and ready to go, let's get the Plowing Bee started. And it's not just one field that's being plowed, there's two more on the other side of the road. Like this one being plowed by the other Cat 60 that was brought here for the Plowing Bee. And two more high in the hills above us. Let's just sit back and watch the plowing. While watching the tractors plowing nearby, I went over to my cousin Katie and her boyfriend Landon to chat with them for a bit. I'm here with my cousin Katie and Landon. I want to ask you this. What's the plowing bee mean to you?
This plowing bee is a great opportunity for farmers to come out and show the way that they used to till land, pull out their old plows as well as the new modern ones. So I think it's just a really great opportunity for them to all be together and show the old ways that they used to do things and now the more modern ways that they used to do them.
Fascinating. What about you, Landon?
It's my first plowing bee, so excited to be a part, and I think that it's just cool to see so many people come out and show off their rigs and just have a good time and have community. It's really cool.
Thank you for your time with me. I hope you had a good day.
Thank you.
Besides the tractors plowing in the field, there's also this tractor giving everyone a fun ride alongside the main plowing field. And speaking of tractors plowing the field, the field is looking great so far. Look at the field as it changes from golden grass to brown, rich earth. But let's pull in our tractors and have a nice break. It'll give everyone the chance to look at these tractors up close and personal. And family moments, either with a quad. That's my cousin Andrea and her kids, by the way. Or tractors. Everything is fun around here. And there she goes, the next generation of Morgan family on a vintage tractor. How wonderful. And here's the field right now. Look how rich and brown it is. It is so amazing that these tractors had done this. Now let's head to John and get a brief recap of the whole wonderful event. So John, how do you think everything went today?
I think everything went wonderfully well. The weather couldn't have been better, except there was so much wind it blew my hat off. And otherwise than that, it was great weather. People seemed to enjoy the sunshine and just being together. There were more tractors than we've ever had come to one of these. There were more acres plowed, and I really believe there were more people than we've ever had before.
Do you think it'll get bigger next year?
I don't know what to say about that. It depends on so many things. I really believe that this would be a political thing, but people are just anxious to get out and associate, and I think that's we're seeing some of that.
All right. Well, I had a good time today. I'm glad you had it too.
Oh, I did. It's good fun for an old geezer. You know?
Boy, I had a great time at the Plowing Bee. But now let's head back to our farm. Did you enjoy our time at the Morgan family Plowing Bee? I certainly did, especially with all those vintage equipment at one place. I enjoy learning about farming equipment, so I had a great time seeing all that in action, especially John's Caterpillar 60. It was a great and wonderful little tractor with a glorious history, and I had a great time talking to him about it. It was a unique look into farming history. I also enjoyed seeing the family throughout the event. They had a great time around this machinery, especially the kids. They had a great time seeing all this. Hope you're ready for next week, because we're going to see the Morgan family again, for we are learning about wheat harvesting. I hope you're ready to see where your bread rolls come from. Also, if you have a location you want us to go on, comment or email down below. We would love to see your suggestions. And also subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We would love to see your faces. Well, that's all the time we have here on Adventures with Kendall. See you there, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.